These 10 West Indies cricketers terrified the best batsmen on the planet, won World Cups, and had the entire Caribbean chanting their names. And then, one by one, almost every single one of them lost it all. Stay until number 1 because his story will genuinely break your heart. Number 10 is Albert Padmore. Born on December 17, 1944 in Barbados, Padmore was a tall, off-spin bowler in an era when the West Indies were building the most feared fast bowling attack the game has ever seen. There was simply no room for a spinner. He played just 2 test matches, both in 1976, despite a brilliant county season in England that same year where he took nearly 60 wickets. He captained Barbados to a Shell Shield title. He was good enough to bowl in Kerry Packer's World Series cricket against the best players alive. Then came the Rebel Tour to South Africa. A man who once captained Barbados to a title and helped organize a piece of cricket history, reduced to a name nobody in the sport remembers anymore. Number 9 is Herbert Chang. Born on July 2, 1952 in Kingston, Jamaica, Chang was a stylish left-handed batsman of Chinese descent who scored runs for Jamaica year after year through the 1970s. In January 1979, he finally got his chance, earning a test cap against India. 1 test, that was it. Despite scoring over 400 runs in a single domestic season afterward, the selectors never picked him again. So in 1982, Chang joined the Rebel Tour to South Africa, and the life ban came down on him immediately. Back in Jamaica, the consequences were brutal. Reports describe him living in deep poverty in Greenwich Town, just outside Kingston, one of the toughest neighborhoods on the island. 1 test cap, 1 decision, and a life that quietly fell apart while the cricket world moved on without him. Number 8 is Ezra Mosley. Born on January 5, 1958 in Christchurch, Barbados, Mosley was a genuinely exciting fast bowling prospect for the English county side Glamorgan, taking 50 wickets in a season, 2 years running, in the early 1980s. Then a serious back injury required surgery, and while he was recovering at just 25 years old, he signed up for the 1982-83 Rebel Tour to South Africa. The life ban followed immediately. His career looked finished before it had really started. But Mosley's story took a turn nobody else on this list got. When the ban was lifted in 1989, he became the only Rebel tourist to ever play for the West Indies again. He made his test debut at 32, and in one of the most famous moments of that series, he broke England captain Graham Gooch's hand with a brutal rising delivery, helping the West Indies fight back and win. He went on to become a respected coach, helping develop a young Jason Holder, who later captained the West Indies. Then in 2021, at just 63 years old, Ezra Moseley was killed in a road accident while riding his bicycle in Barbados. The one man on this list who got his redemption story didn't get to enjoy it for long. Number 7 is Sylvester Clarke. Born on December 11, 1954 in Christchurch, Barbados, Clarke was, by the testimony of the men who faced him, the most frightening fast bowler of his entire era. Faster, some said, than Holding, Roberts, and Garner on his best days. County batsmen in England reportedly made excuses to avoid playing against him. And yet, he played just 11 test matches. 11. Because the competition for pace bowling spots in that West Indies team was so fierce that even a genuinely world-class quick couldn't get a regular game. On a tour of Pakistan in 1980-81, after being pelted by an angry crowd, Clarke threw a brick back into the stands and injured a spectator. He was suspended. Then came the Rebel Tour offer in 1982. Clarke signed up, the life ban came down, and his international career was over for good. But his island never forgot him. Number 6 is Collis King. Born on June 11, 1951 in Christchurch, Barbados, King is remembered for one of the most explosive innings in World Cup history. In the 1979 World Cup final at Lord's against England, with the West Indies in trouble at 99 for 4, King walked to the crease and smashed 86 runs off just 66 balls, completely overshadowing Viv Richards in a partnership of 139 that put the trophy out of reach. For one afternoon, Collis King was the biggest name in cricket, but his entire international career added up to just 9 tests and 18 one-day internationals. A dispute with World Series cricket cost him chances first, and then both rebel tours to South Africa in 1982 to 83 and 1983 to 84 ended his international career for good. Unlike most names on this list, King didn't fall apart. He played on in South Africa, then for years in English club cricket, reportedly still competing into his 60s. There's a West Indies domestic award named after him today. Even so, one of the greatest innings ever played in a World Cup final was played by a man who was never given the chance to do it again on the biggest stage. Number 5 is Bernard Julien. Born on March 13, 1950 in Carenage, Trinidad, Julien was a vital part of the West Indies team that won the very first Cricket World Cup in 1975. He was named Player of the Match for taking 4 wickets against Sri Lanka, took another 4 wickets in the semi-final win over New Zealand, and scored a crucial unbeaten 26 in the final against Australia to help secure the title. He'd already scored a Test century at Lord's back in 1973, and he built a strong county career with Kent through the 1970s. But by the mid-1970s, his international career was already fading, exposed badly during a brutal tour of Australia against Lilly and Thompson. By 1982 to 83, with younger players pushing him out anyway, Julien joined the Rebel Tour to South Africa. The life ban that followed simply confirmed what was already happening. Bernard Julien passed away in October 2025 at 75 years old. Most of the tributes focused on his World Cup heroics from half a century earlier. The way his career actually ended barely got a mention. Number 4 is Patrick Patterson. Born on September 15, 1961 in Portland, Jamaica, Patterson was, in the mid-1980s, by many accounts the fastest bowler on the planet. On his Test debut at Sabina Park in 1986, he bowled with such ferocity that England's batsmen, including their best player, Graham Gooch, looked genuinely afraid. Jeff Dujon, the wicket-keeper who had stood behind Holding, Marshall, Garner, and Ambrose, said Patterson hit his gloves harder than any of them. Across 28 tests, Patterson took 93 wickets. Then, after being dropped following a test in Brisbane for disciplinary reasons, he simply vanished. For years, nobody in the cricket world knew where he was. Rumors spread across Jamaica that he was destitute, that he had lost his mind, that he was living in an asylum, or lost somewhere in the bush. It took a journalist 6 years of searching before he finally tracked Patterson down, living quietly and almost unrecognizable, far from the cricket world that once feared him. One of the fastest bowlers who ever lived, and for years, nobody could even confirm he was still alive. Number 3 is David Murray. Born on May 29, 1950 in Bridgetown, Barbados, Murray was the son of the legendary Sir Everton Weekes, one of the famous 3 Ws of West Indies cricket. Being the son of a legend gave him a name to live up to, and for a while, he did exactly that. Bowlers like Malcolm Marshall and Michael Holding called him the finest wicket-keeper they ever played with. He played 19 tests and 10 ODIs between 1973 and 1982, and took a West Indies record 9 catches in a single test. But Murray had struggled with drugs since he was a teenager, and was almost sent home from a tour of Australia in the mid-1970s before a senior teammate stepped in to save him. Stuck behind 2 other world-class glovemen, Derek Murray and later Jeffrey Dujon, his international chances were already limited. In 1983, he joined the Rebel Tour to South Africa, and the life ban followed immediately. The tour cost him more than cricket. While he was away, he married his fiancée in a private ceremony in Australia. But a visa ban and an ill-judged affair left him estranged from his new wife and newborn child, and he returned to Barbados rootless and branded a traitor. He turned to harder drugs, including cocaine, and spent the final decades of his life skeletal thin, struggling with addiction, even pushing drugs on the same beaches where tourists came to enjoy paradise. David Murray died on November 26, 2022, at 72 years old, collapsing near his home in Bridgetown. The son of one of the greatest batsmen the Caribbean ever produced, reduced to poverty and addiction on the island that once celebrated him. Number 2 is Lawrence Rowe. born on January 8, 1949 in Kingston, Jamaica. Rowe was once considered the finest batsman Jamaica had ever produced. On his Test debut in 1972, he did something nobody in cricket history had ever done before, scoring a double century and a century in the same match. 214 in the first innings, 100 not out in the second. By 1974, he was being talked about as one of the best batsmen in the world, and that year he smashed a record 302 runs in a single innings against England. He even tore apart the legendary Dennis Lillee with a sublime 175 in World Series cricket. Then, in 1982, Rowe made the decision that defined the rest of his life. He captained the Rebel Tour to apartheid South Africa and did it again the following year. The West Indies Cricket Board banned him for life, and Jamaica turned on him with a fury he was not prepared for, forcing him to leave his home country and settle in Miami, where he has lived for the past 4 decades. In 2011, Jamaica tried to make peace by naming a stand after him at Sabina Park. Rowe appeared to give an apology, but within days seemed to walk it back, saying he saw nothing wrong with what he had done, and the honor was canceled amid public outrage. For nearly 40 years, the greatest batsman Jamaica ever produced was treated as an outsider in his own country, not because of anything he did on the field, but because of one decision off it. And now, number 1. The most heartbreaking story on this entire list belongs to Richard Austin. Born on September 5, 1954 in Kingston, Jamaica, Austin was known during his playing days as the right-handed Gary Sobers, a comparison that tells you everything. He could bat, bowl medium pace, bowl off spin, and field brilliantly anywhere on the ground. In 1978, he played 2 test matches and won one-day international for the West Indies against Australia and was electrifying. But after signing with World Series cricket, he was dropped, and despite continuing to score heavily for Jamaica, the selectors never called him again. In 1982-83, at just 29 years old, Austin took the Rebel Tour offer to South Africa. The ban came immediately. Jamaica turned on him with a fury he was completely unprepared for. He had money from the tour. He had a house. He had a car. And over the years that followed, he lost all of it to cocaine. He became addicted, lost his home, and ended up living on the streets of Kingston, the very city where he had once been a hero. Local kids gave him a new name, Danny Germs. For years, people would see him near the National Stadium, asking former teammates and visiting players for spare change. A man who once played Test cricket, now begging outside the ground where he used to play. He got clean briefly in the late 1990s and returned to coaching for a short time, but the addiction pulled him back. On February 7, 2015, Richard Austin died in Kingston Public Hospital at the age of 60. The man once called the right-handed Gary Sobers, one of the most naturally gifted cricketers Jamaica ever produced, died homeless, addicted, and largely forgotten by the sport that once celebrated him. Cricket gave very little back. If this list taught you anything, it's that talent alone was never enough to guarantee a soft landing. Let us know in the comments which of these stories hit you the hardest, and subscribe for more deep dives into cricket's most heartbreaking what could have beens. We've got a lot more coming.